Hey guys, it's Christine with Indigo Healing. So it's been a while since I did my last video, and really I think all it is the energies for me personally, and I have heard from some of my other clients and just people that I interact with, were pretty intense from mid to late July through, for some people, even still now. For me, it's kind of settling a little bit. However, we do have Venus going retrograde in Scorpio. I believe that happens October 5th. We're kind of in the shadow period right now. So that could, depending on where Venus is in your chart, depending on where Scorpio, or depending on all of that stuff, it might get a little crazy again. But yeah, so before I get into the reading, and this reading, it's, kind of like just the typical twin flame, soulmate, divine love, divine masculine, divine feminine reading that I typically do. I was going to try to do something different, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do what people know me for, what people are familiar with me, to get back into it. It's just been like, the energy's been intense, and I just, there were a few times that I would sit down to do a reading, and, like a video for reading, and it was just like everything within me was saying no, you need to rest. So I just kind of was following that guidance, and and I think, truth be told, I've been doing some of my own healing and shadow work and things like that, and I think it was just one of those times that I just did not have an ability to give to everybody, and so I had to be a little more selfish with my time. But and the only reason I'm even explaining any of that is because I've had a lot of people check in and ask where I was, if I was okay, would I be doing videos again, was I still doing readings, and so I just wanted to clear that up. Everything's fine. And I also just, on a personal life kind of level, I have 3 kids. They were home all summer. They drove me crazy, because they kind of range in age, and my little one and my middle one still need me for a lot, and it just kind of, between taking care of my kids and taking care of myself, I just didn't have a lot of extra to give to everybody, but I was still doing personal readings. And I think that moving forward, I'm probably going to have to watch my work schedule. I'm going to have to kind of figure something out for like next summer, or when my kids are on an extended break. I don't know. We'll see. But I went through a big transition. My oldest went through a big transition this year. She started middle school. She went into 6th grade. And for those of you who experienced middle school, went through middle school, that it's not an easy time, and it's a big transition. And so I was a very emotional mother for a period of time as well, just trying to adjust the fact that my baby is growing up and all that stuff. So, but we all need to kind of take what we need when we need it, and and be okay with that. And so I feel much more balanced. I feel like I'm in a much better position to give again. So going forward, I don't know how I'm going to do readings, if I'm going to do them every week, bi-weekly. I'm not sure what that's going to look like. I do like doing the readings that is when I start, or I dabbled in it in July, where I do the monthly reading for each sun sign. I think I'm going to try to do that. So we'll just kind of see what happens. If you haven't been to my website lately, please check it out, indigowingshealing.com. I have been changing some of my offerings. So things have changed a little bit in terms of personal readings. So if you're wanting to get a reading with me, I am open. I am taking clients right now. But things are just a little bit different. I am offering live Skype readings, but I'm doing it in a way that I'm offering them in a way that was a little bit different than what I did before. And I won't get into it. Just know if you're looking for a reading, things have changed a little bit, and you can check it out at my website. So this reading, I feel like this is pretty reflective of what I've seen, just, like I said, my own clients, from other readers, and just random people that I'm interacting with here and there. The feminine, and I feel like it's kind of been like this a lot. Like, I feel like the feminine gets fed up a lot, right? But I feel like there are more that have taken some action on it than they have in the past. So I might tilt the camera down at some point as I'm going through this so you can see the cards. I don't know. Also, just a side note, if you hear any snoring or loud noises, sighs, anything like that, my dog is underneath my desk and he's extremely loud and vocal when he sleeps. So just so you know that. So the first card that comes up for the feminine is Crown Chakra. And I feel like you've been getting a lot of internal nudges, and I feel like there are things you're being guided to do, and I feel like you're torn about it. I pulled two. I didn't pull two. Two came out for clarifying cards. We had the Queen of Air, and we have the Nine of Water. And I do feel like, for some of you, I feel like this is either happening right now or it's just recently happening. That you're torn between continuing with something that you feel like is meant for you, that you, like if it happened, your dreams would come true, but you're torn between that and just being done with it. Just saying, this is not serving me right now. And I feel like this is a nudge from your higher self, from the universe, that maybe you do need to make a change. And there's nothing wrong with it if you decide something's not serving you, to remove yourself from that for a little bit. But I definitely feel like there isn't necessarily, for some of you, you haven't made the move one way or the other. I think that some of you are worried that you're going to regret it. But I think that, really spend some time quietly in, some meditation or just quiet. I have a hard time with meditation because my mind is just constantly going. And that's something that I work on. So sometimes when I'm meditating, I'm not even trying to meditate on something. I'm just trying to really just focus on breathing and not letting other thoughts or anything come in. But I feel like, whatever you do to kind of center yourself, to quiet yourself, do whatever that is so that you can really hear what your soul is nudging you toward. I don't think that you can make a wrong decision in what you do. And for some of you, this Nine of Water, it doesn't necessarily have to be going toward what you think your like what would be like a dream coming true for you. This could just be choosing what makes you happy right now, or finding what makes you happy right now. And for some of you, I do feel that, embracing this Queen of Air energy is going to bring you toward what you're looking for, what's going to, make you feel like your dreams are coming true and your happiness. And I have to say, as I was looking at the cards and things were coming to me, I don't necessarily feel like things are lining up for the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Like, I don't necessarily feel like one action causes them to do, because sometimes it happens in the readings, right? Like, you can very clearly see a story being laid out. I don't feel that 100% for everybody. For some of you, I'm really feeling that there's very focused individual kind of work taking place. For the masculine, the first card that comes up, and so again, I'm really feeling like this is something that has just either recently happened or is currently happening. We have healing begins. And this was clarified by the 9 of Air. And I feel like there is some really massive anxiety and worry and stress happening with the divine masculine. And I think that they're really trying to figure out how they can move forward from that. And I don't think that for them it's like a easy, well, I just do this. For example, if they're with a karmic partner, I don't know that it's super easy for them to say, this person is not, this person, I have a lot of anxiety and, discomfort around this person. This is not working for me, but it's not as easy as saying, okay, I'm moving on. Maybe they have a business together, maybe they have property together, maybe they have children together, maybe they just feel a lot of pressure from the outside world. And I think that a lot of us feel that pressure, where we feel like relationships are supposed to look a certain way. And by relationships, I mean romantic partner types of relationships. You're supposed to follow certain steps, and do things a certain way. And, I think that we can kind of fall into other people's expectations of us. For example, I'm just going to use marriage because that is, I think, a super obvious one. The divine masculine, and even in extents the divine feminine, may stay in karmic relationships, particularly when they are married or have children, because that's the accepted thing to do. That's the right thing to do. That's what society tells you you're supposed to do. And so there's just like a lot of, for the divine masculine, there's a lot of processing that's going on with, do I believe in that in order to be in a romantic partnership with somebody that you have to be married, or if you have kids with someone, you have to be married, or kind of what that all looks like. I feel like the divine masculine is moving away from things having to fit in a box and look a certain way, but there's a lot of processing and acceptance and being okay with things not looking the way they're supposed to. And I think that, this has been stuff that's just, it's very overwhelming. It's very anxiety provoking. It's stressful because it's change, and it's really big change, and it's change that isn't always approved of by those who are close to us. And so there's just a lot of angst going on with this. And just kind of like as a side note on what I'm saying, you know, and I'm just being really guided to talk about this, is that part of, you know, and this is a reading that I realized I didn't say this in the beginning. This is a reading that's good from now through the end of September. And today is September 22nd. And this is a reading that is for anybody who's in any type of divine partnership or divine connection. You know, it's not just twin flames. This is applicable to soulmates. But what I am being guided to point out in terms of the twin flame stuff, twin flames, one of the reasons that twin flames are here is to break the mold, to change the way we do things. You know, twin flames, especially those that are kind of came in like the first wave. There's thoughts of, you know, first wave, second wave, third wave. You know, it's like a paving the way of doing things in a non-traditional way, because they're templating what new partnerships are going to look like. And I think that the rest of the world is not really going to see the effects of this for a while. But if you look at how things have changed, I don't know, I'd even say maybe the last 30 or 40 years, you know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, when a woman became pregnant outside of wedlock, what happened? That typically they got married. If they didn't get married, the women were shipped off somewhere or hidden or whatever, and babies were given up for adoption or whatever that looked like. But basically the point is that was a no-no. Getting pregnant out of wedlock was bad, and you didn't do that. And if it happened, you know, there was a lot of people who got married who maybe shouldn't have got married, and, you know, blah 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 blah. Like, I don't think I have to get into it too much, but now if you look at where things are in terms of the world, like relationships look, and I'm romantic relationships and parent relationships and things like that, like things look a lot different now in 2018 than they did in 1950. And I do think that it's because things are changing. You know, relationships don't specifically fit in one box. And it's not just romantic relationships, you know, all relationships. Things just don't fit into one little box all the time. And so now, you know, you see couples who have been in a committed relationship for a very long time who have never gotten married. They've never gotten engaged, but they still have a commitment to each other. You know, that's not super uncommon anymore. In fact, I had my high school reunion this summer, and I you know, ran into a guy, you know, from high school, and he had been in a committed relationship with somebody, I can't remember if it was 9 years or 11 years. And they, you know, he was kind of like apologetic, or like, I don't know, he kind of was like, oh yeah, I know, it's not the norm, and kind of apologetic about it. And I totally affirmed him and was like, good for you. Like, you're doing whatever works for you. And, you know, but it's like not as uncommon. It's not super common, but it's not as uncommon as it used to be. You know, you have people who adopt or, you know, provide foster care who are single, or who, you know, you have women who really, really, really want to have a child and are not in a committed relationship, or don't have somebody that they trust to be a partner with or a parent with. And artificial insemination. They are a single parent, and grow up that way. And yes, like there is that side that you can say, I'm not even really going to into it. Yes, there are downfalls to, or people have opinions about people having two parents and yada, yada, yada. Like, let's just, for the conversation, assume that, these are people who have really good support systems and things work. Anyways, where I was going, though, is you've got people who, do end up pregnant, and they know that they don't want to marry each other, and so they don't. And they can still raise a child together in a way that is loving and kind and supportive, and where I feel like that wasn't always the case. I know lots of people who have a child together and they have the child first and then maybe they get married 5 years later. There are people that have a child and co-parent and they never get married. And then of course you have the people who get married and split up later. But my point, though, is that all of these different faces of how romantic partnerships should look and be, it's changing. And part of why it's changing is there are people who are here that is, they might not even be conscious of it, but that's their mission, that things are going to be changing. And sorry, that was like a totally long tangent, but I was really guided to kind of talk about that. I feel like there's people who needed to hear that. And I do feel like there are, in terms of the divine masculine, specifically the twin flames, but some who are, soulmate connections and other types of connections, that they're having these thoughts in their head. They're processing these things, and they're moving into a place of confidence that they are okay with not fitting the cookie cutter stereotypes of how things are supposed to look. So sorry, that was really long, and sorry if I lost any of you on that. I hope I didn't, but if I did. So I'm going to go with their next card. We have challenging times. And so it kind of makes sense. Like, if you're trying to make changes for yourself that go against norms, like societal norms that have been established, and so morals, and I say morals, I'm not like dogging anybody's morals, but I just, and I wish I could, the things that are coming into my head, I can't, it's like one of those times where I'm really struggling to communicate it effectively. But the way things look now, I don't think it's going to be the same 100 years from now, 200 years from now. And going back to that whole tangent that I was on before, I'm sorry, but it's obviously just coming in. So obviously somebody needs to hear this. You've got couples who are in open relationships, open marriages, and it works for them. There's some who do that and it doesn't work for them, and they should probably reevaluate that. But people are changing what relationships look like and what works and what doesn't. And, I feel like anytime you are somebody who is like a pioneer of something, you're gonna face struggles and challenges. And the divine masculine, as they are kind of grappling with how, the changes that they want to make in their life and what that looks like, and kind of how it might challenge societal norms, it's gonna be a tough time for them, because I think they're gonna be kind of going back and forth. They're gonna toggle, I want this and I want to do what feels right, but it's not something that is normally accepted, or it's not, it's frowned upon or whatever. And so I think they're going to be going back and forth and really struggling with how to move forward with what they truly feel they're meant to do and what they should be doing. And the clarifying card I pulled here is the Two of Fire. So that's that confirmation for me that they're looking for how they move forward with this. What is the best way for me to move forward? And can they? I think that they're am I stuck in this unhappiness? Am I going to be, because some of these guys, and they could be female if it's masculine energy, but the divine masculine energy, some of them are just super unhappy. And I think some of them are really, have a lot of anxiety and worry around the fact that, am I going to be this unhappy for the rest of my life? And they're just trying to figure out how to move out of that. So for the Divine Feminine, the card that comes up for the Divine Feminine, she's toggling too. She's got this card of daydreams and decisions. Now, both of her cards, she has a 7 and a 7. She is on the right path. This is her part of her divine path of, what she's supposed to be doing, what the plan is that she set out for herself before she came here. And I think a lot of the Divine Feminine feel like they're messing up somehow, but you're not. You're exactly where you need to be. But there's this toggling, and again, going back to the Queen of Earth or Queen of Air and the Nine of Water, it's this you don't know what's going to make you happy. Now, the key to that is you are the key to your own happiness. You decide if you're happy or not. But I get it. I've been there. I've been in that pit where you look around you and you're just so unhappy. And that's something I can, talk about at a later time. On pulling yourself out of that pit, because you can't depend on other people to make you happy. I cannot depend on my husband to make me happy. I cannot depend on my kids to make me happy. My friends, my own divine connection. I cannot depend on any of them to make me happy. That is not their job. That's not why they're here. I have the power over that. And if there's things I'm not happy with, I have to make changes. And the same goes for everybody else. So the clarifying card for daydreams and decisions, we have the Ace of Fire. And that is, the Ace of Fire, it's this, you want something new. The Divine Feminine is just chomping at the bit for something different. And I think that they're really kind of, going back and forth and what is going to bring me this excitement of newness and new opportunities coming into my life and things that I'm passionate about. And that's something, you're the only one that's going to be able to answer that. Nobody else is going to be able to bring that for you. But what's interesting is that both the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine are in this place of, what do I do? I'm not happy. Do I go left or do I go right? Do I go forward? Do I go backward? What, you're trying to figure out what is going to take you where you want to go. And for a lot of you who are experiencing this, it might be quiet, because you can't depend on each other to show you or tell you what direction you need to go in. That's something you have to figure out for yourself. And so some of you might be in situations where, something comes up and you are pushed apart from each other. There's less conversation, there's no conversation, there's, whatever. So you might be finding yourself in situations where there is no contact. And I know how difficult that is. I know how much initially it feels like the silence is just deafening and it sucks. But you can't do the inner work that you're meant to do if you are codependent on each other, which a lot of these divine connections are in places of being codependent on each other. And again, I'm not immune from that, so I'm not like preaching. Hold on one second. Hey, you gotta hold on, I'm recording. Thank you. Sorry, I hope that didn't sound mean to you guys on the camera, but that's kind of been like my whole like summer is I'm halfway through something and knock, knock, knock on the door when they know that I'm recording. Sorry, you're seeing like the irritable, frazzled mom coming out right now. Okay, so what's really cool is where both the divine masculine and divine feminine are headed, but you're going in the same place. You're going in the same direction, but you're doing it in a way that's a little bit different. The feminine has, of course I can't get this card picked up because of my nails. Well, as I'm trying to pick it up. The divine feminine has sacral chakra. Okay, there we go. So I feel like the divine feminine is taking this kind of back and forth energy and trying to figure out what she wants. And she's coming into a place where she can create. Like, how can I be creative and use my creative energy while I'm in this situation? You know, and some of that, I feel like a lot of you are turning your toggling energy, your processing, you're turning it inward, you're turning it on yourself, you're figuring out how to make yourself happy. And the clarifying card is the Empress, which is, how awesome is that? You know, this is a card of, you know, like I feel like this is the divine feminine right here, the Empress. And the Empress is like you're giving birth to your dreams. And for so many of you, I feel like it's not, you know, a specific thing. Like I feel like your dream is you just want to be happy. You just want to be content. And you're giving birth to that. You're figuring out how to make yourself happy, how to get yourself into that energy all by yourself. So I think that is awesome. For the divine masculine, they, I think, are trying to figure things out too, but they're in a different place. Like for the feminine, I feel like you don't have like an obvious struggle. Like, and by obvious struggle, I mean, I feel like you don't have something that's in your face making you angry, frustrated, upset, anxious. Like, I feel like a lot of it is mental. Like, I feel like you create it yourself in a way. Whereas the divine masculine, I feel like they literally have something going on that's in their immediate environment that they have to face, like they have to deal with it and they have to face. You know, they have some sort of decision or choice or something that they're gonna have to make. And so the divine masculine has confront. And I do think that many of them are going to be saying like, okay, this is my issue and I have to face it head on. And that's going to look like a different, you know, it's going to look different for all of them. Sorry if you can hear my dog, 'cause he's really snoring right now. So the cards that come out here as clarifiers, we have release. So for some of them, they are going to say, like, I have got to put an end to a certain situation. I have to let go of something. Something here has to change. There's something that they have to move on from. So they may be facing that. We have the dreamer. And I really feel that whatever it is that they are going to finally face, it's going to put them on a path for newness. But it's going to be hard for them. It's not going to be easy peasy. It's not going to be like, oh, well, this is, no big deal. Like, no, this is going to be a test of faith for them. It's going to be a leap of faith for them to confront whatever this issue is. But you know what? If they're willing to take this leap of faith, it's going to bring them into a place where they're going to have opportunities that they never could have even dreamed of. And then we have the star. Here's these opportunities that you never even dreamed of. The star is all about happy times and being on the right path, knowing that you can look optimistically towards your future. And so there's a lot of really good things that are going to come for the divine masculine for facing head on whatever is causing them all of this anxiety and chaos. The crowning energy that both the divine masculine and feminine are coming into, we have seek. And at the end of the day, you are both moving into this seek energy. You're moving into this energy where you are in touch with you, what you need. You are quieting yourself to hear the guidance that is necessary. And there's these two birds on the card. I feel like by going within and quieting and seeking what it is that you're looking for within yourself, it's going to bring you to this divine partner at the end of the day. It might take a while, but at the end of the day, you're going to get there. And we have the Queen of Fire. The important thing here is not to underestimate yourself, to know that you for both the divine feminine and the divine masculine, this is a period of time where you really need to assert your independence and creativity. That's going to get you where you want to go. The grounding energy is well-deserved reward. So, it's like underlying everything, there is a pot of gold for you at the end of all of this. Putting in this effort and this work and making these changes, you're going to reap the benefits. And the clarifying card here is the Page of Earth. So you're going to have good news coming into you, and it's going to be good news of some sort of abundance. It's going to be, something that helps to move your life forward. The earth is, finances and career, and, so that's, I think that you are going to see the abundance come to you that way before you see it in other places. But I think that it coming to you in the place of a career finance type of thing is going to pave the way for you to move on to other areas of your life. I hope that made sense because it came through kind of weird. Oh, one thing I wanted to point out. So the crowning energy, the grounding energy are both 9s. So something is coming to an end. There's some sort of cycle that's coming to an end. The card confront for the divine masculine, that's also a 9. I think those were the only 9s. Yes. So, at the beginning for the divine masculine, he has the 9 of air. So there's something that's coming to a close for the divine connection. The the underlying energy for the feminine, hold on, is share the love. And, you know, the heart on here is kind of broken. And I feel like the breaking had to happen in order for you to be able to share the way that you're meant to. And I feel like you had to break in order to be able to move on to the next thing. Because I think some of the divine feminine are really feeling very broken, or have very recently felt very broken. But at the end of the day, you just want to share the love that you have. And then the clarifying card that I pulled here is the 10 of air. You are coming to the end of this difficult time, this time of toggling. You know, things are going to start getting better. This is a 10, breaks down to a 1, new beginnings. And the divine masculine has a very similar card. They have simply love. And so what they just want to be in a place where they can just love who they love and share it and do it in peace, do it peacefully. And their clarifying card is the wheel. So this is a 10. This has a similar energy for me in this reading as the 10 of air. It's moving forward with something. You're going, you know, the wheel is turning, something is moving forward for them. And again, 10 breaks down to a 1 for new beginnings. So you both have very similar energy in what you're bringing to this. And then the last card that I just wanted, so the bottom of the deck, we had the heart chakra. So there's no doubt for me here that you're both doing the best that you can to live from your heart and have love in your heart. And if that wasn't enough, the card underneath it was love. This is the Lovers. You know, and this is coming together and you know, a balanced union. So despite things maybe not looking the way you want them to right now, some of you might be feeling really stressed out, anxious, down, depressed, because you know, you're not connecting in a way that you enjoy. You might just be, there might just be silence. You might not be connecting with each other at all. Focus on what's in front of you and know that the energy is moving and it is going to get better for you. And it's, I think, relatively soon. So I hope that this reading was helpful for you. Thank you for hanging in there. This is longer than I wanted it to be. I will be back in the next week or so with another Divine Connection, Soulmate, Twin Flame reading. So be on the lookout for that. I do have a Facebook group. It's Indigo Wings Soul Connections. If you would like to join, I offer special deals and prices and things on in that group that I don't normally offer other places. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm Indigo Wings Healing on Instagram. My Facebook business page is Indigo Wings Healing as well. All of my contact information will be in the description box below. I hope that this reading resonated with you. If it did, contact me. We can set up a personal reading for you. I hope that you guys enjoy your weekend or week or whenever you are watching this, and I will see you very soon. Take care.